Hi guys, welcome back to Infinite Possibilities, the podcast where we explore the lives of amazing people, their choices, challenges and opportunities. And today I have a very special guest,
Rojas-Lizana.
Yeah, wait, say that again slowly.
Rojas-Lizana. But that's okay, you can say Rojas-Lizana in the English. Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's Rojas.
Rojas. Oh, pronunciation is hard. Yeah. So do people call you, So is your first name, right?
Yeah.
And then Rojas-Lizana.
It's my surname. It's my surname. What I did was join in my father's surname and my mother's surname, because I really want my mother there.
Yeah.
I want obviously my father, but my mom, she has to be because she's been super important in my life. So yeah, that's why I hyphen there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I could be Sol Rojas only.
Sol Rojas.
But I'm Rojas-Lizana.
Yeah, but kind of considerate. Yeah, and Sol has like a crazy, crazy story. But before we start, can you give a 1-minute introduction about what you do?
Ooh, that's hard. That's super hard. Okay. What I do academically, I am...
A bit of both. So we can start academically and maybe like other aspects of your life.
Okay, so I'm in the Spanish program at the School of Languages and Culture, and I teach a language at the advanced level, and I also teach graphic novel, literature, and cultural studies subjects. That's the teaching, but then the research. I research on memory, trauma, and discrimination, and all within the frame of discourse studies. Okay, so and I have this perspective through which I look at my work or my research, and one of them is decolonial thought.
Oh, very interesting. And then can you give maybe like a one-sentence description regarding, you said memory trauma, because that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, so in the memory and trauma in the sense of collective memory and trauma. So when you have, so it's not so much, what happened to one person and his psychological issue. It's more a historical thing. So when some, let's say, countries have experienced traumatic events such as, a big example is the Holocaust.
Yes,
it's a continent that experienced it. And then you have civil wars and stuff like that. And then you look at how survivors talk about it, how they survive it, how they cope with it, those type of things. So I look at memory, because that happened in the recent past.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have generations after. So there are generations who did experience that recent past, but then you have generations who didn't, like the grandchildren of.
So you look at all the different generations.
I look at throughout the generations, because the discourse of that memory is different.
Yeah.
Depending on your generation and how close you are to that experience.
Yeah.
So, and because I look at discourse, so meaning like, in details of not just what is said, but how it is said, and how, that construct a way of thinking about, in this case, memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that for like older generations, there is like some memory that has been forgotten because they don't want to remember? Is that a common thing?
It's not, I don't think some coping mechanisms are, kind of, you have it blank or whatever, but I'm not looking at that thing. I'm looking at actually those who do remember and how they transmit that memory to the, next generation.
That's pretty cool.
So, but it's interesting that, because it does happen that publicly speaking, after a very traumatic event, you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you don't want to write about it, and you don't want to produce stuff about it. So, but then this urge comes, and then all these movies and literature and books and stuff start emerging. But this is after years after the traumatic historical event, and I think there is a need of being down and then, coming up with
Oh, yeah, it's kind of like they suppress it so hard. So when it explodes in magnificent big colors.
Yeah. And some people are different. If there is a graphic novel called A Mouse, and it's about the Holocaust. And you can see there that some survivors don't ever talk about it, and others, the only thing they talk about is that. So you have different reactions, of course.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, but we'll definitely touch on more about how you came to find your research interest, but we're going to start from the beginning.
Okay.
And recently, was it recently?
No, this is 2014.
2014?
Yeah, the recent thing is because they are still making a movie about it.
Yeah.
And the recent thing was that it went to Cannes, the pitch, the movie. So that was this year.
Wow.
But this is 2014.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and this is a beautiful graphic novel about Sol's childhood.
Yes.
Yeah, and
so it's autobiographical, and it does have memory and trauma in there. You see, so yeah.
Oh, can you tell me maybe what prompted you to maybe write your story to begin with?
It actually, there is a reason why. It was something, and it's that book there. I don't know if you want to pick it up. It's called Persepolis.
Persepolis.
It's that one.
This one?
Yeah, this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my friend Shireen Jamarani, she gave me this book. And it's about Iran.
Oh, okay.
And it's the childhood of somebody living during the revolution in 1979 in Iran, and then she went and all. So she wrote this book, and it's about her memories of living in this conflict in Iran. And when I read this book, I said, I have a very similar story, you see. So I said, I think I can do this. And then my brother, he's an artist.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so I contacted him and I said, let's do this. And he was reluctant. He didn't want to because he had this trauma.
Yeah.
You see, that I didn't, but he did. But after a while, he said yes.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. So my audience is wondering about what is this trauma you're talking about.
Oh,
so maybe you can sort of give like a background description.
Oh my gosh, okay. So I will have to talk about history.
Yeah, that's
fine. It may be boring. Okay.
Oh yeah, maybe just give like 5 seconds.
Well, the trauma is because so Chile had a democratically elected government for hundreds of years, many years, and then there was this president who was socialist. And of course, this is the Cold War time, and the U.S. didn't like that, to have, a country having socialism, going, and it was democratically elected, etc., etc. So the U.S. and obviously the right wings and the military, they join, and then they do this coup d'etat. So they overthrew the government. This is in 1973. So there was a dictatorship, and it was a big thing. It was super repressive, violent. They obviously killed lots of people, and just because you thought differently. There was no civil war or anything. They just wanted to eliminate. It was a genocide. It's a political genocide.
Yeah.
We would call it. And just because you were like left wing, and my family was left wing, but they didn't. That's it. They were not part of any political party or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was traumatic because people were dying.
Yeah.
Everybody was very scared. And then what happened is my parents were asked to harbor or to hide these people in their house. And my parents said yes, because they knew if they didn't, they would have been killed.
Yeah.
And so we say, let's have them. They can be, in the back room, whatever. Yeah. Nobody has to know. And, they believed it would last like a couple of weeks. Yeah. But then they stayed for 10 years. So we lived with them, and we didn't know who they were, but then we learned they were the most wanted people in the country. So, that was it. And then that's kind of the story of the book, from that period. And then my dad and my mom, they divorced, so he left. And then another family came, and we were two families together with these people hiding. And so it's a long thing. I cannot, but that's the thing. So but the trauma of my brother, it's interesting, is he was always an artist and all that, and when we had these people with us, everything was very political.
Yeah.
We had to do lots of stuff, like resistant kind of activities, and everything was, the education we received was very, very political, very Marxist, very, so for him, it was a bit too much.
Yeah.
He wanted,
freedom.
a bit of, so there was no freedom in the country, and there was no freedom in the house. And he was a teenager too.
Yeah.
So I think for him was not so good, because he obviously, as teenagers do, they fight with the family. He was a rebel among the rebels. So, but I was just 10 years old or something. So I was like, oh yeah, I love this, and I love them, and for me it wasn't a big issue really. So that's why he was a bit hurt after everything was, but I wasn't. And so when I asked him, he was like, no. And then he said, well, maybe. And it was really good, because we kind of reconciled, and we became closer, because we were never close. And then we had to talk to the other people, and that was also quite good. It was healing. It was a healing process.
Wow. Yeah, damn, this book means a lot to you then.
It was what you call a catharsis. So it's something that emerges out of a need. Not because I'm an artist or anything. It was, I had to do this. I had to tell this story. It's a very good story, and people never imagine this type of things, that they really happen, so that's why.
Yeah, that's cool. Wait, so I'm kind of curious to take back to the beginning. So so were you exactly 10 years old when the first person was brought back home?
I don't remember how old I was. Probably, 9 or 10,
Wow, that's very young. And so what's the age difference between you and your brother?
He's 4 years older
4
than
years
me.
older. Oh, 14.
Yeah,
the rebel stage. So how did your parents sort of like explain it to you? Because they were supposed to keep it like hush-hush. They don't want, a 10-year-old, we have people in the house.
No, but we knew immediately.
Oh, you knew?
Yeah, immediately. I mean, I don't know. We just knew. I mean,
You smart kids.
I think we were kind of smart in that sense. And the day of the coup, and this is in the book, the day of the coup, my dad was crying. And then my neighbor came to play with me, and she saw him, and she said, "Oh, your dad is crying because that communist government is going down or something." And I was like, "No, the cat died." I said, "The cat, our pet." I said, so I lied that very day. Nobody told me to lie, but I did, because I knew that you knew that something bad was coming, and you had to protect your family and stuff like that. So it wasn't hard for them. They never lied to us. They said, these people, the dictatorship are trying to find them. We have to hide them. And we said, yeah, of course. And we just kept quiet. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow.
It's like, there is a book, The Book Thief.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So I remember they have this boy hidden there and all that. And she just knew that she couldn't talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And so when the first person came back, was there sort of...
It was a couple.
It's a couple?
Yeah, it was a couple, a man and a woman, yeah.
Oh, and how did you sort of like integrate them into your family, and how does it...
Very fast and very well, really. They were really nice.
Yeah.
So, I really liked them, and I especially like her because she did ballet.
Oh.
And I loved ballet. Yeah. And I started doing ballet late. So we did a lot of talking, and we watch ballets in TVs, and so we had that thing in common. Yeah,
and sort of like How do you, so they lived in like the back of your house?
Yeah, there was this room. It's in the. It's in
Yeah,
the,
I think
there
you
was
might have
this
to
room,
retell
back
it.
room where they were, yeah, living. Yes, but then we moved from that house because
Yeah.
my father left, so they
Yeah.
divorced, and we moved to another house.
Yeah.
And it was a big house, and we were two families then
Yeah.
living, and we were all part of the political party to which these people
Yeah.
belong. So it was 7 of us, 7 people plus
The couple?
the couple.
Oh.
Plus the couple, so we were 9. And then we had somebody else too, so we were 10 for a while in the house. Yeah. It was a big house, so it was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, and so like these people, like they can never leave the house?
Yeah,
Never
they
leave.
could. They did and it's in the book.
I think like the audience, it's kind of nice to have like an oral version of the book, so you might have to be retelling the book.
Yeah.
Sorry
So
about
they
that.
did leave the house, but they had to go. My uncle would drive, and they were in the back, and they were just hiding with some blankets. Sometimes we sat on because we were children. We sat on top of them, or we put the legs. So because there were roadblocks, you know, with the military. Looking the cars and stuff like that. So it was pretty dangerous also for them to go. But sometimes they had to. So we did that. And my uncle just left them somewhere. And then they did whatever they had to do. We had no idea. And then, going back.
And then so pretty much for 10 years you harbored like just mainly 2 people.
2 people and 3 for a while, yeah, for a time. And the third one was very famous person.
Oh my gosh.
And everybody was looking for him. So he wasn't supposed to be with us because 2 important people couldn't be together. But he had to flee the place where he had been because the military arrived. So he just fled. And then he contacted our people, and he stayed with us for 3-4 months. Until he found another safe house.
And did you ever wish at any point in time that like, I don't want these people living in my house?
No, that's a funny thing. I always loved having them, but I know my brother didn't, and my other cousin who was also a teenager, he would say to my uncle, throw them out. I'm sick of these people and whatever, because it was a big change for them. But for me, because also my cousin was there, she was the same age as me, so I gained a sister. And I was happy. I don't know, it's just maybe I'm a bit like that, it's like, well, let's go on, I don't dwell on stuff. I don't like.
But that's so funny because you saw it as like almost like an adventure, right? Like
I actually did. And then they would send me to do stuff.
What kind of stuff?
I cannot say.
Okay.
But some of them were dangerous, and with those ones I was very, very scared. It's funny because my cousin, who was very shy, she wasn't. She would go, she was more like brave and more militant than me. Like, okay, we have to do it, so we can overthrow this dictatorship. But I was like, oh my, exactly like that. And I was like, oh, you okay? But this is a bit dangerous. And I was always a bit, I was a coward, really, in those type of situations. But in the rest of the time, I was okay, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. That's kind of scary. And so for 10 years, man.
Yeah, so it was my childhood, and then when I was a teenager.
So 20. 2021.
Yeah, and then,
Yeah, and then I guess, did you sort of like, there were like 3 people. Were there one girl you learnt ballet from? Did you sort of like pick up any sort of thing from the other 2 guys in particular that you can remember?
Not really. No, I mean, they were super nice. We had very lovely, in the Spanish world, there is a tradition of sitting at the table after lunch and after kind of dinner, and you sit and you talk for a long time. It's very traditional, it's called sobremesa it has even a name. So sobremesa is that. It's after eating, you spend an hour talking. And so the sobremesas were really nice and very interesting because these people were very cultured and prepared. So it was very political, but also it was very cultural.
Yeah.
And I was always wanting to know more because I always loved reading. And, so for me it was a learning journey, I guess. Journey of, So I learned from all of them.
Yeah.
But with her was different because it was the ballet thing. And I guess mainly that.
Yeah.
But I really liked them, all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Wow. Did you ever wonder, like, to your parents, like, why are you putting, like, the family at risk?
My brother
Yes.
used to do that, and he would criticize my mom until I guess today.
Yeah.
I didn't. No, I knew it was necessary. I knew somebody had to do it. You have. I mean, it's like.
But why you?
Why not? Because we were there, so you have to. It's like now.
Yeah.
If somebody needs your help, you need to. You have to. You have to help.
Oh wow, that's a really good mindset.
Well, I think that's, It's called. I felt what you call interpellated. The interpellation is a concept of, not just empathizing, but doing something about it.
Yeah.
So
action.
So I got that from my mom. That's why I keep her surname. You know, you have to do something. It's not just talking. You have to do something. And I guess that's it.
Yeah. Wow. And then so can you maybe share some sort of like, some of the really tough times during those 10 years? Do you have any close to death experiences?
We had many
Do you have
close to death, and we
ones?
have. I think we mainly suffered a lot when people we knew got killed. So it was like, it's another one being killed, and you just had to carry on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was mainly that, and but as a family, not. There is one experience that is actually in the contact. Oh no, it's very it's pretty long. But anyway, it's just that once we were at home, everybody. The thing is, at night, they would the adults, not the children, they would take turns looking, awake in case the secret police came to the house and so they were always guarding because it was possible that they would come. So that was an everyday thing, and we slept with on my bed there was always a change of clothing ready.
Oh,
you see, so
to run away,
and we knew how, if we had to run, how to go, like jumping from house to house, and where to, so we had this plan of escape plan. So I guess that's the thing, you live with that all the time. And then at school and everywhere, you cannot say anything. And you cannot even say that you were against the dictatorship because, you had to look neutral and you wanted to say that you hated the dictator, you see, and you had friends I had friends who, wanted to organize and do stuff, and I couldn't be in that thing because of my house. So, but so one day I remember there was this knock we had this big, what's the name? Gate. Okay, but it was all covered because obviously, everything was very covered. So there was this big gate and somebody was knocking. And we were like, that sounds bad because it was very, very hard. And then we looked, and over the big fence, it was a brick fence, we saw this big truck full of military people. So we say, that's it. They came. So it was like, oh my gosh. So everybody was running. everywhere, and they say, okay, the little kids, you know, just go to this place where if there is a gun thingy, you know, you could hide. So we went to that place. But the adults they had guns, machine guns and stuff. So they were taking them. So for me, it was very shocking to see my family with guns. Yes. And so that was it. So they were going to fight. They were not going to surrender, you see. And they kept doing that, and well, it's in the book. And then my auntie, because you know we were two families, she said, "Oh my gosh," because and you could see also on the you know, the gate you could see through the gate down there. You see, it wasn't all until the end. Okay, so you could see the boots, the shoes of the person. So, and they were military boots, and then the military wears that. So it was all that. And then my auntie says, "It's the gardener." She said, "I called the gardener to come today and do the garden, you know, to do the lawn mowing and all that. It's the gardener. It's not them." So they just happened to be, you know, there.
Yeah.
And we just related, and it was super dangerous because they could have started shooting. And nothing, you know, there was nothing like that. And then there was a big fight with these people and my auntie, because she said, "You were so careless, you know." This, of course, the adrenaline was high, so everybody was shouting, and that was super bad because nobody shouted ever in my house. So we were very scared. It was the only time I saw people shouting and all that. So that's one of but it was a constant fear of they will come. They were going to come and just take us or kill us.
Wow, damn! When you were a kid, did you sleep well at night? Because I mean, you went on guard.
I did because also I knew. I did really because they were there. They were awake. You know, taking turns and all that. So I felt protected. I don't know. I think I was also. I guess that's why I didn't suffer that much because I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And I was doing ballet at that time. When I was 11, I started, and so my whole life was just ballet.
Yeah. But that's kind of a good distraction.
Yeah, it was really good.
And then were you scared of death as a child?
No. It's when you live in that, it's something that could just happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's part of life, kind of, at that time.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because when you were so young when this happened, so you just accepted it. You thought, just gonna make the most about it. But maybe your brother, he came through it, when he was sort of somewhat developed, he came across this and he's like, this is not what I want.
This is not what I want.
I want what it was before, but you don't really have that sort of comparison, nor do you have that idea of choice.
Yes, maybe. Exactly, choice. He was questioning, they are making these decisions for me. You as a child don't question because you just obey what your parents decide. Yeah,
okay, cool. Wait, so tell me the journey after.
Okay. After what? After
this finished?
So they, of course, then democracy came back and then, you know, everything was fine. But I left the country. So I left in 1989 to live in South Africa. Yeah. So that's it. So I never went back. Yeah.
Why?
Oh, this is because I had a boyfriend at the time, and he's actually my partner. Yeah. And he won a scholarship to do a PhD in South Africa. He's a marine biologist. Yeah. So he won the scholarship, and I was at uni. So I was in my 5th years of philology and literature and all that. So, he left, and then I went. I just went with him.
Whoa! So was it...
To South Africa,
Damn, did you almost feel a little bit scared to leave the country?
I loved it. I wanted to. I mean, it's a big adventure. I was 20. Yeah. South Africa, what is that? Yeah. Lovely. Yeah.
Were your parents worried for you?
I don't think my mom always trusted me. Yeah.
Ah, that's very good.
Yeah. She actually said, even because before he left, we married.
Yeah.
Because it's really difficult to get a visa if you're,
Yeah.
all that thing. So that was the reason. Because we were kind of living together. And my mom was like, don't marry, he's nice, but don't,
Yeah.
But she trusted me. Yeah. No,
Oh, that's very cool.
It was good.
Yeah, and tell me how you decided like what you wanted to study at university and how were you shaped maybe by your experiences?
Okay, oof. Yeah, but okay, so I always loved reading.
Yeah.
So I went for literature
Yeah.
when at uni, my first, BA, I did philology and linguistics in Chile. And then I went to South Africa and I wanted to continue my studies, but there was nothing equivalent with the Spanish and all that. So I did a BA again.
Yeah.
All over again in South Africa, and that was a BA on classics.
Ooh.
This is because I did Latin when I was in Chile 3 years. So my major was Latin, but classics, so classical literature and all that. And I did also linguistics there. And then I did honors in African studies, specifically African literature. And then I started a master in South Africa.
Yeah.
And that was really nice because at that time, the head was J.M. Coetzee, who's a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, he was my
Wow,
supervisor.
hero.
Wow, whatever. So that was really good. But then my partner got a job in the Galapagos Islands, and then I said, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, because you can do a master anytime.
Yeah.
But you cannot go to live in the Galapagos Islands. And actually, I didn't even know where the Galapagos Islands were, but they sounded very
cool.
Wow.
Adventure.
Exactly. So we just left, and then we were there for 6 years. And the good thing is that we worked in this research station, and that's when I started my translation work. Because I worked in the library there and in the education unit. And some authors needed to translate their books.
Yeah.
And so with my degree, I said, well, I can do it. Although I didn't study translation, but, linguistics and literature. So I translated 5 books there while I was in Galapagos. And then I got a bit tired. You get tired of living in an island,
Yeah.
And so
Boring?
Yeah, it's you just see the same people all the time,
Yeah.
and it's just whatever. And then so I said to my partner, let's leave. And he said, okay, let's go. So he applied for jobs outside, and then there was one in the US, Canada, and one in Australia.
Perfect.
So we came.
Yeah.
And the idea was for me to finish my master's and do a PhD. And that's what I did. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of also curious. When you were young, did your parents have any sort of like input on what they wanted you to do as a career? Because I thought your parents would maybe want you to do something maybe more stable with like a bigger job market.
Yeah.
Or was there any sort of like conflict between what you should do and?
Not at all. No.
Really
They always say whatever you want to do is fine. But my dad was a literature teacher. He was a drama teacher. And he was an author. He wrote.
Ooh.
Yeah. And my mom was a history teacher. Okay, for primary school. So the teaching was in the family. Yeah, it was in the family. So it wasn't hard for me to choose literature because I come from a people
Got that
who
advantage.
read a lot. Yeah. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. And what about in terms of like, when did you decide, like, some people after doing their bachelor's, they're like, oh, done with study, I'm going to exit to industry. How did you sort of make that choice?
I always wanted to be an academic.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, since my first BA.
My gosh.
Yeah, when I did actually linguistics,
Yeah.
I remember doing morphology and syntax in Chile, and I said I really like this. I really want to. I wanted more than being a researcher. I wanted to be teacher, university teacher. It was like teaching at university level. That's what I wanted.
Oh.
And then the research part came much, after deciding, to be a discourse analyst or no, and that came with the PhD.
Yeah.
But before that, I always wanted to be in academia.
Oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think
You don't like, you think it's
me.
boring?
I think it might be a bit boring.
I saw your face like, whoa!
No, because like I don't know, like me, my bachelor's, like I never like saw my teacher and was like, oh, I want to be just like them. And then, but I think you say it with like so much certainty and so much passion that I feel like I don't really have that thing in my life. So I'm kind of curious, like, how do you know, like, were you like, oh, academia, this is good, but maybe there's something else that I might like even more? Did you?
Yes, yeah. Well, when I first started, I wanted to apply for law, to be a lawyer. Yeah. But at that time you had to. The points you need, like the GPA. Yeah, I wasn't enough for law.
Yeah.
So I actually had to go for something a bit lower, and that's why. So yeah, probably if I would have been a lawyer if I had
crazy.
Had a higher. Yeah, because I have that a cousin who is a lawyer, and she was very nice and influential. So that was one thing I wanted to do. But literature was always there.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Wow. And how did you decide you wanted to pursue a PhD? Was it just because you wanted to break into academia, or was it like something else?
Remember, when I went to South Africa, my partner was doing a PhD, and I worked as a research assistant for all the people in zoology. They were all doing their PhDs, and it was like I was in the PhD world, but I was younger.
Yeah.
Because he's 8 years older than me.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw the environment, I liked it, and so I just wanted to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And then so now that you've kind of arrived, you're lecturing and stuff, did it meet your expectation?
Yes. No. I'm super happy with my career. I really like doing research, but what I really like is working with postgrad students. To see how they find their way, and that thing in their eyes when they find something, and part of when they do research, and that whole thing, I just love it. And I love the fact that I'm always learning, because you're not a supervisor only, you are learning from your students all the time, and I have this thirst learning, so I love it. And I love my research. I think because I'm also researching on this period, so in a way I'm like giving back, I guess, to the victims. So I feel it's I'm doing something that has some value there.
Yeah. Wow. So how did you exactly choose your research interest? Was it because you had some so I guess like memory trauma is sort of like in like themes of the book.
But this came later. I mean, this is something, the memory and trauma research is something I started 5 years ago only. Okay, my research was mainly in pragmatics. And I work on I really wanted to work on the discourse of everyday people. What everyday people thought about certain stuff. So it didn't matter what it was. But then, of course, you have this thing with discrimination and all those things, social justice. So I wanted to combine with that because I'm interested in that. But I'm not sure how at the end. I think things just happened.
Yeah, you look in one direction and you find that, there are so many other issues, and then you sort of like grab onto them.
Yeah, and when you start researching, of course, you have this thing, but then it leads you to all these other places. And then when you go to this other place, you find something here very interesting. Yeah. So you go there, and then you move. So it is still within this field,
Yeah.
But I do like the freedom of being to do interdisciplinary work.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't stay with linguistics, because linguistics is very specific.
Yes.
And I wanted to do something more like language in use, language in connection to society, to psychology, to social issues and stuff like that. So that connection I wanted, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I want to ask you a few more questions about the book.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. How long did it take you to write it?
4 years.
Holy.
Yeah.
So 2010 to 2014.
Yes, it was 4 years because I wasn't allowed to actually. It wasn't part of my job description here at UQ.
Yeah. So no one knew. You kept it a secret.
No, it's not that. It's because it's not research.
Yeah.
Now it would be accepted, I guess. But at the time, it was like my supervisor said, well, this is not the publications you should be doing.
Yeah.
So I did everything after hours. So it was weekends and also not during work hours. That's why it took so long. Yeah. And I did lots of research too on history and graphic novels, because we didn't know really about the format and the genres that you can use and stuff like that. And the other thing was my brother was always in Chile.
Yeah.
So everything was email.
Oh no, that takes
So
forever.
he would send me the drawings, and I would say, fantastic, but why don't you add this? Or why, we were doing this all the time for that period.
Yeah. Did you ever consider that you might just write the book and just keep it for yourself and not publish it? Or it was always with the intention you were going to release it to the public?
I wanted it for people to know about the story. Yeah, always with that intention. Yeah.
Were there moments when you wanted to give up on the book? Because man,
never. But we did have problems after it got published with some members of the family. And
wow, that's
so
hard.
many people actually learned about what happened when they saw the book. They didn't. Some aunties of mine, because they are very right-wing people.
Yeah.
In my family.
Oh my gosh.
So they were, oh my gosh, you were extremist, or
Yeah. Wow. It took a lot of bravery.
It was.
A lot of controversy.
And some people here were not very happy about it. So my auntie especially, she didn't want it to be published. She didn't want the news, people to know about it. Yeah. But then she got convinced.
Yeah. How did you convince her?
With everybody. I mean, she was the only one. So the 9 other people. I mean, we were 8 other people. Talked to her, and I mean, nothing happened. So, but when you grow in fear, you're always with that. So she was fearful. She thought that somebody could come after her after reading this, because it identifies the people. So, but obviously nothing happened, because this is like 20 years after, or 30 years, I don't know.
Oh, so when you release this feels like, because for 10 years, you always lived in fear. So releasing this was sort of releasing your fear.
Oh yeah, it was really good. It's like, when you come out of the closet. Yeah. It's like, I felt liberated. I felt super well. It was really good.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, and do you have any sort of imprint from your childhood to now? Does it make you when you see something you seize up and you're scared? Are there any sort of lasting impacts?
I don't think so, but there is something that happens to me, is that I cannot lie. I just cannot lie. So it's like I have to tell the truth.
Wow, so, after 10 years of lying.
It's because we lied for so many days. So it was that, years and years of not speaking or lying.
Yeah.
So now I just can't. So if if you come with
ugly outfit.
Exactly. And they say, how I wouldn't actually comment. I would be quiet, because I cannot say, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Because that's what you say and it's fine. But I just cannot because I don't, I just cannot lie.
When you say cannot, is it like the feeling that you don't want to?
It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's that.
Yeah, but that's kind of cool. I mean, that sounds like quite a positive impact. Bet your family and friends love you for that.
Well, yeah, but my son, he's 14, he always says that I'm very brutal.
Yeah.
Because, when he asked me about, sex.
Yeah.
How is this thing with, and I said, are you sure you want me to tell you? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to lie about it. So he asked when he was like 12, I remember. And he said, maybe I'll wait another year for you to So he always says that I may be, brutal and, with the tooth fairy and Father Christmas and all those things. Like, well, it's not real.
Yeah.
And he kind of sometimes doesn't like it.
Yeah, that's so funny.
It is funny, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like the deep questions. So
oh my gosh,
you don't have to have a crazy response. So what do you think the meaning of life is for you?
Oh my gosh, the meaning of life. What is that? What is that really?
Yeah, up to your interpretation.
Why are we? Do you mean why are we here?
Yeah, or what keeps you here?
I don't know. Trying to make a difference and be kind.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. You have to try and be kind to people. I just read this book for my book club.
Yeah.
And people were so nasty and you don't need that. I mean, it's enough. The planet is in enough trouble now.
Yeah.
For people to be so nasty. So I guess, I don't know, try to build something better.
Yeah.
Try to lower your footprint.
Yeah.
That's super important. Try to do something for the environment. So I don't know. But I'm not sure what you're saying really with the meaning of life.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I just ask and I just see what the response is.
What did Guy say?
Guy, dude, he was my first episode, so I actually didn't come up with the question yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll ask him next time, Guy, when I see you. Yeah, so I also want to ask you, what do you think the perfect day in the life is for you?
Perfect day.
What time do you wake up? What do you do?
Okay, but I actually wake up to my cats. They come to me and they need food, so they start meowing 4:30 in the morning every single day. Yeah. So I have to go down and feed them.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I come here and sometimes I work from home.
Yeah.
But the perfect day is just knowing that, everybody at home is fine.
Yeah.
and also having that 2 hours of just me. Everybody's sleeping, and then you're there, you have your first coffee, and it's just, and you look at your garden or whatever. That's it. And then, working in the garden, listening to music, watching ballet, going to the gym, things like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
having time for all those things, watching a movie.
Yeah. Leisure activities.
What about you?
Me? Oh, I haven't really thought about that. So maybe I'll tell you off camera if I remember.
Okay. But I guess the perfect day is having time to do the stuff you want to do. So, that's...
Yeah, but it's like the very sort of classic, family, friends, one part, and then probably there's like some sort of like fulfillment from work. And then there's probably like 1/4, like, like a quadrant for like exercise or something. But I don't think it's anything dramatic. Yeah, it's just a very simple...
It's really, what makes me really happy is when somebody I know and I love succeeds on something.
Yeah.
And they publish or they...
They publish.
Yeah, especially in academia, when a friend publishes, it's like, wow, this is so good. Yeah, I guess that adds to your day. Like yesterday, I received the news that my student won a prize for her honors dissertation.
Ooh,
so it was like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah, but that's so good. You have a very kind heart, being happy for other people.
it's kind to you. I mean, it's not.
You feel good and they feel good, so it's like a win-win.
It's a
and
win-win.
they associate, like, if you had any tiny part in helping them, they associate their win with you.
Exactly, and
wow.
it's just so lovely. It's just so lovely.
Yeah, that's cool. And we're pretty much at the end of the podcast.
Okay.
So I have to ask you, what's your podcast experience been like?
Oof. I think it has a lot to do with you.
Okay.
And you're very nice and very good,
very nice.
and you're super nice and very good at leading, and so of course I felt really well being with you. I don't know with other people, and yes, this is my first podcast experience.
Hello.
So best of luck with this.
Thank you so much.
But you should edit.
No.
You should edit, definitely.
One day. But that's it.
Okay, bye.